Hello, my name is Anthony, and this is the first segment. I'm going to be hopefully making a game. Let me kind of preface this with why I want to do this and who I am. My name's Anthony. I have very, very basic coding experience. I took one Java course and one C# course in college. Um, but I've always really wanted to make a game that helps people. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to make a pipe game, and if you're not familiar with that is, it's basically you try to get water to move from one end of a map to the other using basic pipe shapes, so like cross shapes and things like that. And I'd like to eventually export it to like the Android marketplace and use any money that I can generate from it to help. With this specific game, I'd like to use the money to help provide clean water for impoverished people, things like that. I'm literally just starting out. So I'm using GameMaker. I'm familiar with the program. I've used it to make super basic games in high school. But we'll see what happens, and hopefully I learn some stuff along the way. If you see that I'm doing something inefficiently, if you see something that I should do better, if you see something that I'm just doing flat out wrong, or if I post a video where I'm stuck on something and you have an idea, please feel free to comment. Be honest. I would say brutally so. I can take it. Again, I've never really coded anything of any major substance, so we'll see what happens. But for this one, I'm just going to call this basic pipe game. Alright, so we're going to create. Alright. Well, I do have... So, another thing that I'll say, all images that I'm using will... or rather have been provided to me by a buddy of mine who is actually an incredible artist. He normally does like 3D renderings and sculpting and things like that, but I asked him if he could mock up some things for my game as far as pipes are concerned, so everything that you see art-wise, that all comes from him. I will also post anytime I get help from anything, whether it's another YouTuber or a message board, anything like that. I will post all my sources below in the description. So yeah, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and create a room. The sprites that he made me are 34 by 34. And really what I want to get accomplished... Oh, another thing. All my videos will be roughly 30 minutes long. Anything that I can complete in 30 minutes. I do have other obligations. I am still in college. And this is something that I'm kind of doing in my free time. I would like to make this my career, but I would like to finish college first. So we're going to start... since this is just going to be testing out different mechanics, we're going to start with RM base. So one of the naming conventions that I have seen in the past, at least for this, is any type of room that you make, use RM for room, object use OBJ, sprite use SP, so on and so forth. So for this one, room 0, we're calling this room base, because this is the base room. And really, I'm just going to be using this to test out different mechanics in the game. 640 by 480, I guess, is fine. And we will go ahead and leave that as it is. Let me see. Physics, settings, room, base room. Okay, wow. Okay. Now we want to, for this video we're going to work on creating a sprite or adding a sprite into the program, making it an object, placing the object, and then duplicating. So first we're going to create a sprite. Let me make sure that, well, let me make sure I have all my sprites downloaded, so give me just a sec. Okay, I'm back. I've got my tiles now. So we're going to go to resources, create sprite. We'll call this SP. Well, let's figure out which one we're going to do first. So, to kind of give you a rundown of the way the game, how I envision the game working, it's going to be kind of different than most other pipe games. Most other pipe games, you have an opening pipe, and then you have an ending pipe, and you need to get from one end to the other. This one, the idea is kind of running with the theme of collecting clean water or providing clean water. You are trying to collect rainwater. So it's going to rain for a certain amount of time. You'll have a funnel, it collects the water, and then you'll need to funnel it down to tanks so that you can provide for your town, your village, whatever. You'll have different types of pipes. You'll have different obstacles that you'll have to go through. You will have different, you have like filtration systems. You'll have pumps that allow water to get through faster. The other part of that is you only have a certain amount of time that you can get water from one end to the other. So once it rains and then you start collecting water, you have another set time limit for how long the water can sit in the pipes before it goes bad or goes stale or whatever, just to kind of add a challenge. Obviously, since this is early days, things could change, but as it stands right now, funnel 1 width, funnel 2 width. Okay, so what we're going to do is, since the first one that we're going to have is going to be the funnel, we'll go ahead and start with the funnel. Oh, this kind of looks like a bowl, but that's fine. Early days, like I said. So this will be the sprite, and we'll call it SP funnel. And that's good. Okay, so now we have our sprite. Now we're going to make that sprite into an object, so that it can be actually placed into the room. Object funnel. Alright, now, so we've got our object, we've got our sprite. Let's go ahead and place the object. Let's see, rename RM base. Okay, let's go ahead and place our object into the room. So there's our object. It takes up 3 squares, which is kind of what I wanted. To add, again, a level of challenge to the game. I didn't want the player to be able to, what's the word? Basically just fill up with funnels and catch all the rain. So by allowing the funnels to take up more than one space, you essentially cut down on the amount of screen room that the funnels can take up. Obviously, in this one, I could just do funnel, funnel, funnel all the way across. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to drag the funnel to the bottom right-hand corner, which is where I want to put it. And then we're going to make the object an event. So on creation of the object, what do we want to do? Well, let's see. I did this once, and now I'm trying to remember how I did it. I know that I want to have a count as a integer variable, and the count will basically say, allow me to duplicate the item. I guess it would be easier to show you, but essentially what would happen is if I were to, let's see, get rid of this. Okay. So if I were to just do a duplication of this object, then when I duplicated it and I dragged one out, every time I clicked on the dragged out one, it would duplicate. But if I have my counter will say, if the count is less than 1, you can duplicate it. And then in another section of code, I will increase the count so that it equals 1, so that when I go to drag something, it doesn't duplicate when I drag it around. Another one that I want to do is a Boolean value, which is selected equals false. So when it's created, it's not selected. Selected is going to be a variable that I use to tell whether or not the item has been clicked on, and once it's been clicked on, to allow the item to be dragged around. So right now, those are going to be the two things that I'm going to have on create. The next thing I'm going to do is add a mouse click, and it's going to be a left button click. And what we're going to do is we're going to add an event. We're going to add another section of code. And this section of code is going to say if, which is an if statement. It checks whether or not something equals something out, and we're going to say count is less than 1. Then we're going to create an instance of the object. So we're going to say instance create, I think it's instance create, and then we want to put it at, so this part I actually need to go back and check where I actually placed the object. So we want to do instance create 576 by 576x 448y. So create 576x 488y, and then we want it to be the funnel. So we're going to do the object funnel and close the if statement. So now it says if the count is less than 1, create an instance of the object, duplicate this object. And if it's not less than 1, then it won't create an instance. The other thing that we want to do is we want to check if when it's clicked, we want to set selected equal to true. Okay. Just to kind of give a little rundown as far as coding is concerned, if you ever are new to coding, like I said, I've taken a few courses, but not much, just enough to know a little bit of the basics. Anytime you write a piece of code, always end it with a semicolon. In certain programs, when you declare a variable like I did with selected and with count, you do have to specify what kind of variable it is, or if you want like a double variable is a decimal, if I recall correctly. An int variable is an integer. A Boolean is the true or false. A string is letters or words. So yeah, so selected equals true. This allows the item to be selected. So once we click on it, the selection equals true. Oh, I did forget to do one thing. Once the instance is created, we want to say count plus plus. So this will increase, the plus plus increases my count by 1. This allows basically what this will do is it'll create an instance object with the count equal to 0. And it'll make the current object that's there count equal to 1, which means now when I click on this object again, I will just drag it around and I won't have to add anything or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. The next thing we want to do is we want to actually make it so that we can drag the item around. So we'll do a step event. Step and add code. Alright, let me see if I can remember this. If selected, and you can just do if selected. You can do if selected equals true, but if selected without equals false or anything like that automatically makes it or automatically checks to see if it's a true statement. So if selected equals true. Let me see how that worked. Can't remember. Let me go ahead and pull up the YouTube video that I was working on, and I'll link him in the comments as well. Game Maker, drag and drop. Okay, here's the guy.
Hey guys, my name is
that I
Gal,
was
and
working with.
This is another Game Maker tutorial.
I'll go ahead and copy that.
In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to... Then I'm going to create
there's him creating the object.
Be false or at the start. Now
there's the selected.
Not very good because
and this guy's name is zekit 12.
Stop and select object.
Okay.
That is true. X equal mouse X.
There we go, that's what it was. So then it says X, which is position X of the object, equals mouse X, which is the mouse X, which is the pointer X. So everything that's done on screen is in a grid value X, Y. The X position is the X position of the X variable here is the X position, and the mouse X is actually the cursor itself. So you'll do the same thing for the Y value so that you can move it not just left and right, you can move it up and down as well, but you'll do mouse Y. And like I said, don't forget your semicolons. And then we will close this off. So that is, if it's selected, follow X and Y. So we will go ahead, let's go ahead and test this to make sure that that is running correctly. So we'll go ahead and run the game, and it's going to compile everything, and then we should be able to click and drag, and it did not create an instance of the other object, nor did it, that's something I'll have to work on. Maybe if we do X minus 10. This is just me testing some things. I've never, again, I've never actually done this, but I did notice last time I was working that the error assignment operator expected. Maybe if we do mouse X minus 10 semicolon. I don't know why it's deleting things. Okay. So if we run this now, compile. See, it should, I want the mouse to actually be in the center. So we'll work on that in just a second. Let's get the basics of it all worked out. Create. So why is it not? I've selected left button. It's a cute piece of code. If count is less than 1, which count should be 0. Equals 0. Create an instance of the object. Well, let's just try moving. Maybe it's creating an instance of the object not on screen. Let's move the object to somewhere that I know would be on screen. Somewhere in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but you know what I mean. There we go. Alright, let's see why this is not. Okay, so there's an instance of the object, but it's not making it on screen. I think because the center of this object is center of the object for some reason is not. Why is that like that? Persistent. Mask show information. Origin. Oh, because the origin is at 0, 0, but we want the origin somewhere near the center. Right? Somewhere near the center. So we'll do that and see how that changes things. So now the origin's somewhere near the center. Okay, that works. Alright, so that's how that's supposed to work. Let's go back and execute a piece of code. We'll say this one is object 540. 544 by 416. So what we want to do is, what am I doing? There. And do here, set this to 544 by 416, check mark, and run it again. Well, I made it up there. That's not exactly how I wanted that to work. Okay, let's move on from there and then we'll go back. Let's make sure that we can unclick it. So left release, and we will add some code to set selected equal to false, and then we want to move snap equals how did I do that? Move snap 34? Is that what I did? I can't remember now. Seven three using the variable move snap. Okay, so that's not what I did. What did I do? Move snap 34, comma 34. Oh, that's right. Move snap and then this by this. Okay, so this should work. There it goes. Look at that. And see, this is what it should do, is I should be able to duplicate the object and it shouldn't. It should duplicate from the start and replace where it's at. Let me see. Left button press. X? No, that's not gonna work. How am I gonna do this? I thought 547 by 416 because the room itself. Let's delete the object. The room itself. $576 by 448 maybe? 544 by 448. Let's try that. Okay. 544 by 448. Check. Check. No, it's just a little bit off. But what's unregistered? Okay. How much off is it? To the left. So if we no, not that, not the step. We want the left mouse button. We need to move. Let's move this. 560. And try that. Run. That's weird. That's not even kind of what I wanted to do, but well, maybe if we move this to delete. Why is there so many? Delete. Delete. .32 by 32. So then what we need to do is go here and change this to 32 at 32. I don't think this is gonna work either. I don't know why. I think it's because my center point's not exactly... Wow, that's not even kind of correct. That just moved it off screen. Okay. How about if we make it 34, 36. Run. Oh, that's still off screen. Let's see. Oops. Oh, that's not... That was pretty good, but that's not exactly... There's another issue that I need to fix, but that's not exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay, so... Move it over just a little bit more. 38. Let's do 40. Play. Close, but no cigar. Let's do 44. I know, this is just literally just a guess and check right now. I'm sure there's a better way to do this using math, but right now, just a guess and check. Okay. 46. That was pretty close. Okay. I mean, it's close. It's not great, but it's close. But it allows me to drag items out, and they snap to the grid positions that they need to snap to. Which is good. Okay. Next, what I need to do is make it so they don't disappear, which I'm not 100% sure how to do, but this kid does explain something about that later in his video.
Mouse. This is our type selected. This object to this object, the first object.
Yep. He talks about deleting the first one.
Use a global variable.
And he wants to use a global variable.
Global and point you can call it whatever you want. I just do it select an object.
Can select.
And now in the left button, step event, and I'm going to do if selected. Also do global dot
Can
can
select.
select equal false. So now the object won't be. So now the player won't be able to select again. And when it equal to, so we can select again and array. Oh no, this should work. Oh, of course. Sorry. In the left button event, we should make sure that you can select, right? Because
Oh, right. Okay, so basically, as I was skipping through there trying to figure out what he was trying to do, he's going to, on the create a global variable, which is kind of like our selected variable. So I mean, global dot can. He uses can select. We'll just use the same thing. Selected equals true. Oh my god. True. Semicolon. And then during his step variable, he makes that false. Global dot can select. And then we do this one as well. Global dot can select equals false. And then here we do, well, that's, something's not right. I'm missing something
oh,
here.
it's still happening. Sorry. No, I should wait. Going to do it true. I just do it can
That's the
select.
create.
Going to do it true. Select an object button. When you select an object, I'm actually going to do. Should I do it here? No, I should wait for in the step event. And
Oh, if it's selected, go to the step event. So that's where I'm. Did I put it inside the if? Yes, I did. Okay. And then here we want to set the can select, the global again. Global dot can select equals true. So now it can be selected again. Move snap. Selected equals false. Okay. Why I missed a lot of semicolons. Okay. I guess I don't really check those here. Alright, now here's something that I'm really bad about, but you really need to do if you're doing any kind of coding, and that's documentation. So here, what we'll do, declares variables on creation. And depending on how much you want to put in, you can put in more. So like I'll just do everything here. Integer variable used to check whether or not the object should be duplicated. So that's what the count variable does there. Here we have Boolean variable tells whether the object has been selected. And then this one is Boolean, global Boolean tells whether the object can be selected. Okay, so there's documentation on the create. Here we want to do checks whether if the item is selected, this allows the object to be dragged. Follow mouse. Okay. And then let's get rid of this -10 here. Checks count to determine whether to create an instance of an object. This changes Boolean values accordingly. Check. And last but not least, changes Boolean back. Allows item to be selected again. And actually what we'll do is we will cut that and paste it underneath there. And then snaps items to grid coordinates. Alright, well, that's pretty much all we're going to do for today. Look forward to my next video where I will... I don't even know what I'm going to do in the next video. Maybe we'll work on making it rain or something like that, or collisions. You know what we'll do next video? We'll start off with collisions, making sure that the items check to see whether or not one of the funnels is already in place, and if it's already in place, to snap back to its original position, or delete the created instance. How about that? That'll work too. Alright, well, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, link below. I'll do my best to answer any questions you have. If you have any comments, if you want to just be an asshole, be an asshole. I don't really care. But if you have anything constructive to say, I will try my best to respond. Again, I am still taking classes, so I will do what I can when I have time. Anyway, thanks for watching.